Alright, good morning and afternoon to those not in Queensland, basically. We are here with break number 351. We have another 25 Traders Titanium Priority Combo break, which features the Traders Titanium case, the Priority Box, and a mini hobby starter pack box. So we have all that ready to go. Let's bring up the chat and the team list. Today's team list: Broncos, Jeff Warnes; Raiders, Josh Ellis; Bulldogs, Peter Lowe; Sharks, Nick Eisman; Dolphins, Craig Milsom; Titans, Josh Ellis; Manly, Peter Lowe; Storm, Dean Michael; Knights, Kyle Burrows; Cowboys, Craig Milson; Eels, Darryl Barton; Panthers, James Knowles; Rabbitohs, David Morton; Dragons, Michelle Lovett; Roosters, Matt Price; and Warriors, Aaron Livingston; and Mario Henriquez with the Tigers to finish us off. Alright, let's go. So basically, hang on, let me count. Yep. The two breaks that are now listed in stock and the two breaks that are listed as coming soon, they are the last breaks that will have the hobby starter pack cases in them. So if you're interested in the showcase variations, get amongst them before they're done. Get all these out. Last two. Alright. Let's go. Hey, buddy. First up, bronze. Luke Brooks for Manly. In the bronze, Lachlan Galvin for the Tigers. In the bronze, Tommy Dearden for the Cowboys. Yes, blue sky today, so looking much better compared to the last couple of days. Lindsay Collins for the Roosters. In the gold, number 10, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck for the Warriors. Yes, it still wasn't easy to get up at 5 o'clock this morning. It wasn't very bright outside at that point. In the gold, number 62, Patrick Carrigan for the Broncos. In the silver, number 70, Herbie Farnworth for the Dolphins. In the gold, Lachlan Galvin, 106 for the Tigers. First day back to work for me today. At work and still making the live break. Good work. I think. In the bronze, Cameron Murray for the Rabbitohs. In the silver, 145, a Roger Tuivasa check. In the bronze, Patrick Carrigan for the Broncos. Sorry guys, I just got to turn my music down. It's a bit over the top. In the titanium, number 28, Mitchell Moses for the Eels. In the silver, number 75, Herbie Farnworth for the Dolphins. Big Sharkies hits. In the silver, 103, Luke Brooks for Manly. We've got 6 to go. In the gold, number 11, Tommy Dearden for the Cowboys. In the titanium, number 28, Luke Brooks for Manly. What have they got left now? Just the gold. So if we hit the gold for Manly, Manly scored the rainbow in the one break. In the titanium, number 14, Ryan Pappenhausen. In the bronze, Herbie Farnworth for the Dolphins. In the bronze, Ryan Pappenhausen for the Storm. Watching on phone. David Fafita, 124 for the Titans in the silver. Alright, let's get these packets opened. Women's NRL, Melly Hafunga for the Broncos. Phoenix Crossland, parallel for the Knights. Rising Stars, Ethan Bullymore for Manly. Jaden Sewer, parallel for the Dragons. Season to remember, Hammer Fido for the Dolphins. Titans, parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Morgan Smithies for the Raiders. Jesse Ramian, parallel for the Sharks. Season to remember, Jerome Hughes for Storm. Leo Thompson, parallel for the Knights. Women's NRL, Kira Dibb for the Cowboys. Charlie Staines, parallel for the Tigers. Rising Stars, Jai Gray for the Rabbitohs. Liam Martin, parallel for Panthers. Season to remember, Madison Bartlett for the Raiders. Sean Lane, parallel for the Eels. Women's NRL, Hannah Southwell for the Knights. Adam Reynolds, parallel for the Broncos. Morgan Smithies, parallel for the Raiders. Rising Stars, Kai Pearce Paul for the Knights. Well, parallel, Cameron Murray for the Rabbitohs. Showcase, Patrick Carrigan for the Broncos. Jeremiah Nanai, parallel for Cowboys. Quincy Dodd, Women's NRL for the Sharks. Dylan Lucas, parallel for the Knights. Just want to remind everyone while we're doing this, we do have 3 chances to hit a legend signature in one break. So the retail packs do have legend signatures. They don't have the black authentics, gold parallels and all that. Caleb Neville, Rising Stars for Manly. Raymond Faitala Mariner, parallel for the Dragons. The Converters, Matt Burton for the Bulldogs. William Kennedy, parallel for the Sharks. Fan faves for the Rabbitohs. Jacob Carraz, parallel for the Bulldogs. Rising Stars, Evie McGrath for the Tigers. Roosters parallel checklist. Season to remember, Isaac Tago for the Panthers. Luciano Leilua, parallel for Dragons. Rising Stars, Maverick Guy for Panthers. Elias Katoa, parallel for Storm. Club Heroes, Kale Iro for the Sharks. Nathan Cleary, parallel for Panthers. So remember, Club Heroes are a box hit, guys. Well, 2 per box. But yeah, so hitting 1, or Broncos case yesterday hitting 3 different ones, not even a duplicate in that. That was pretty cool. Fan faves, Kennedy Sherrington for the Eels. Blake Laurie, parallel for the Dragons. Cowboys, season to remember, Chad Townsend. Xavier Coates, parallel for Storm. Women's NRL, Titans Checklist parallel Nick Meaney for the Storm. Rising Stars for the Bulldogs. Jaden Campbell, parallel for Titans. Club Heroes, Julia Robinson for the Broncos. Moses Leota, parallel for the Panthers. Mitchell Moses, parallel for the Eels. Club Heroes, Liam Henry for Panthers. Max King, parallel for the Bulldogs. Rising Stars, Peter for the Rabbitohs. Scott Sorensen, parallel for Panthers. That's just what?
That's just parcels. That's not even.
Season to remember, Sean Johnson for the Warriors. Well, yeah, I forgot to mention, the post did go out this morning, guys. So, first lot anyway. Stephen Crichton, parallel for the Bulldogs. Everything that was ready to go has gone out this morning. And I'm sure there's more there to be done and sent out. So. Fan faves, Blake Laurie for the Dragons. Angus Crichton, parallel for the Roosters. Don't worry about me. Rising Stars, Benjamin for the Broncos. Dylan Brown, parallel for the Eels. Big contract for Dylan Brown coming. Moving on to the Knights next year from the Eels. Ryan Pappenhausen, fan phase for the Storm. Big Tino, parallel for the Titans. Rising Stars, Joe Chan for Storm. Jackson Ford, parallel for the Warriors. Season to remember, Zali Faye for the Eels. Harry Grant, parallel for Storm. Fan phase, Patrick Carrigan for the Broncos. Broncos parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Charlie Ogama for the Eels. Selwyn Cobbo, parallel for the Broncos. Season to remember, Zach Lomax for the Dragons. Mitchell Barnett, parallel for the Warriors. Rising Stars, Harry Hayes for the Bulldogs. Milwaukee Fodawaka, parallel for the Titans. Club Heroes, Jerome Hughes for the Storm. Chance Nico Clockstad, parallel for the Warriors. Fan Phase, AJ Brimson for the Titans. Storm Parallel Checklist. Fan Phase, Jareem Buller for the Tigers. Alafiana Kampi Era, parallel for Titans. Rising Stars for the Storm, Lazarus. Roger Tuivasa, Shek, parallel for the Warriors. Fan Phase, Yasmin Clydesdale for the Knights. Hamali Olika R2, parallel for Manly. Rising Stars, Samuel Stone Street for the Sharks. Tigers Parallel Checklist. Season to remember, Rebecca Pollard for the Tigers. Felice Kafusi, parallel for the Dolphins. Showcase, Ryan Pappenhausen for the Storm. Ethan Strange, parallel for Raiders. Rabbitohs Parallel Checklist. Rising Stars, Max Plath for the Dolphins. Helam Aluki, parallel for the Cowboys. Rising Stars, Lily and White for the Knights. Tavita Tatola, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Showcase, Roger Tuivasa Shek for the Warriors. Jeremy Marshall King, parallel for Dolphins. Fan Phase, Nico Hines for the Sharks. Wade Egan, parallel for the Warriors. Rising Stars, Jacob for the Warriors. Herbie Farmworth, parallel for the Dolphins. The Converters, Sam Walker for the Roosters. Tommy Talau, parallel for Manly. Payne Haas, parallel for the Broncos. Season to remember, Jaden Campbell for the Titans. Murray Talagi, parallel for the Cowboys. Stephen Crichton, fan faves for the Bulldogs. KO Weeks, parallel for the Raiders. We've got 4 packets left out of our starter packs. Rising Stars, Lachlan Galvin for the Tigers. Victor Radley, parallel for the Roosters. Rising Stars, Liam Ison for the Sharks. Adam Dewey, parallel for Tigers. We're going to be lucky second last. What are we going to hit? Come on. The Converters, Mitchell Moses for the Eels. Thomas Hazelton, parallel for the Sharks. Last packet for the starter packs. And we have a retirement. Kyle Felt for the Cowboys. And parallel Manly checklist to finish us off. Alright. Let's tidy as many of these up as we can. There's a box I prepared earlier. Alright, so we're about to rip into the case. Before we start opening, we will find out who the lucky winner of the case card is. For today, let's move our priority box out of our way. Number 33, SJ for the Warriors. Aaron Livingston with the Warriors today. Alright, let's get all these out. Get rid of the big box. Alright, that is it. Let's go, box number 1. Rising Stars, Fletcher Sharp for the Knights. Isaiah Katoa, parallel for the Dolphins. Season to remember, Tommy Talau for Manly. Toltor Koala, parallel for Manly. Fan phase, Brian Top for Panthers. Dream Buller, parallel for the Tigers. Rising Stars, Georgia Hannaway for the Sharks. Blake Brayley, parallel for the Sharks. Showcase Luciano Leilua for the Dragons. Knights Parallel Checklist. Gold Parallel Keanu Kinney for the Titans. Number 14. Tyrell Sloan Parallel for the Dragons. Rising Stars Hopper Wate for Manly. Cameron Munster Parallel for the Storm. Club Heroes Blake Brayley for the Sharks. Matthew Tomoko Parallel for the Raiders. Kennedy Sherrington Women's NRL for the Eels. Latrell Mitchell Parallel for the Rabbitohs. Season to remember, Sanua Taruva for Panthers. Dave Fafita Parallel for the Titans. Fan phase Jaden Campbell for the Titans. Tohu Harris Parallel for the Warriors. Rising Stars for the Storm. Ezra Mam Parallel for the Broncos. The Converters, Adam Reynolds for the Broncos. Isaiah Yeo Parallel for Panthers. Women's NRL, Grace Kemp for the Raiders. Parallel, Micah Sivo for the Eels. Rising Stars, Skylar Adams for the Broncos. Bulldogs, Parallel Checklist. Women's NRL, Zali Faye in the gold. Number 60 for the Eels. Rising Stars, Samula for the Tigers. Reese Robson Parallel for the Cowboys. Season to remember, Jamal Fogarty for the Raiders. Lindsay Collins Parallel for the Roosters. Fan phase Alex Johnston for the Rabbitohs. Tommy Dearden Parallel for the Cowboys. Rising Stars, Oren Keeley for the Dolphins. Xavier Savage Parallel for the Raiders. Fan phase in the team for the Roosters. Cody Walker Parallel for the Rabbitohs. Club Heroes, Jack Howarth for the Storm. Max Plath parallel for the Dolphins. Rising Stars, Moala Graham for the Warriors. Jake Trbojevic parallel for Manly. Season to remember, Adam Dewey for the Tigers. Alex Seyfarth parallel for the Tigers. Fan Phase, Kalen Ponga for the Knights. Brighton Nakora parallel for the Sharks. Season to remember, Renato Militalo for the Sharks. Reid Marnie parallel for the Bulldogs. Fan Phase, Ethan Strange for the Raiders. Sam Walker parallel for the Roosters. And our first gold converters, Kyle Flanagan for the Dragons. Rising Stars, Grace Kemp for the Raiders. Kalen Ponga parallel for the Knights. Showcase, Mitchell Moses for the Eels. Kyle Flanagan parallel for the Dragons. And a Kyle Felt retirement for the Cowboys. Jerome Hughes parallel for Storm. Rising Stars, Casey McLean for Panthers. AJ Brimson parallel for the Titans. The Converters, Jermaine Isako for the Dolphins. Warriors parallel checklist. Women's NRL, Jessica Surgis for the Roosters. Patrick Carrigan parallel for Broncos. Rising Stars, Dan Kerr for the Eels. Dylan Edwards parallel for Panthers. Season to remember, Clint Gutherson for the Eels. Bryce Cartwright parallel for the Eels. 2 packets left in our first box. Fan Phase, Josh King for Storm. Jacob Preston parallel for the Bulldogs. Rising Stars, Leilani for the Titans. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Connor Watson parallel for the Roosters. A good start into box 1. Alright, let's go. Box number 2. NRLW, a Premiership Predictor, number 56 for the Eels. As I said, that one's the NRLW. Dane Gagai, parallel for the Knights. Tamika Upton, Club Heroes for the Knights. Dragons parallel checklist. Season to remember, Tommy Turbo for Manly. Jeremy Marshall King, parallel for the Dolphins. Fan faves, Dylan Edwards for the Panthers. Manly parallel checklist. Rising Stars. Liam Eason for the Sharks. Adam Dewey parallel for the Tigers. Club Heroes Samula for the Tigers. Thomas Hazelton parallel for the Sharks. The Converters, Zahara Tamara for the Raiders. James Tedesco parallel for the Roosters. Women's NRL, Holly May Dodd for the Raiders. Scott Drinkwater parallel for the Cowboys. Rising Stars, Blake Steep for the Roosters. Raiders parallel checklist. Women's NRL, Batil Avet Welsh for the Tigers. Phoenix Crossland parallel for the Knights. Women's Gold, Sophie Holloman for the Raiders, number 49. Rising Stars, Ethan Bullymore for Manly. Jaden Stewart parallel for the Dragons. Gold Converters, Kira Dibb for the Cowboys. Stop it, Jared. Rising Stars, Liam Henry for Panthers. Parallel, Trent LaRoe for Storm. Season to remember Nathan Cleary for Panthers. Xavier Coates, parallel for Storm. Fan phase, Jamie Chapman for the Titans. Alafiana Kampi era parallel for Titans. Rising Stars, Lazarus for the Storm. Delivery, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck parallel for Warriors. Season to remember Tane for the Warriors. Keon Kolomatangi parallel for the Rabbitohs. Fan phase, Jaden Sewer for the Dragons. Jermaine Isako parallel for Dolphins. Rising Stars, Casey Array for the Dragons. Ruben Garrick parallel for Manly. Showcase, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck for the Warriors. Tony Staggs parallel for the Broncos. Fan phase in the team for the Broncos. Isaac Tago parallel for Panthers. Rising Stars, Rory Owen for the Eels. Reece Walsh parallel for Broncos. Rising Stars, Josiah for the Broncos. Joe Offengowie parallel for the Eels. Season to remember, Hudson Young for the Raiders. Balami Kickout parallel for the Bulldogs. Fan faves, Latrell Mitchell for the Rabbitohs. Spencer Lanu parallel for the Roosters. Rising Stars, Josiah for the Titans. Matt Burton parallel for the Bulldogs. Rising Stars, Jack Bostock for the Dolphins. Cowboys parallel checklist. The Converters, Mitchell Moses for the Eels. Joseph Tarpanay parallel for the Raiders. Women's NRL, Elsie Albert for the Eels. Jack Whiten parallel for the Rabbitohs. Rising Stars, Dimitri for the Warriors. Hammer Fido parallel for the Dolphins. Season to remember, Lachlan Galvin for the Tigers. Tommy Turbo for Manly. Showcase Herbie Farmworth for the Dolphins. Panthers Parallel Checklist. Gold Parallel Jamal Fogarty for the Raiders, number 14. Will Penasini Parallel for the Eels. Fan faves, Greg Marsu for the Knights. Samula Parallel for the Tigers. Rising Stars, Chevy Stewart for the Raiders. Nico Hines Parallel for the Sharks. Regan Campbell Gillard, season to remember for the Eels. Keanu Kinney Parallel for the Titans. Lucky last for our second box. Fan faves, Harry Grant for the Storm. Alan Watine Zalesniak Parallel for Warriors. Alright. Box number 3. Fan faves, Blake Laurie for the Dragons. Jamal Fogarty Parallel for the Raiders. Rising Stars, Alaya Naseo for the Roosters. Tackling Machines, Regan Campbell Gillard for the Eels, number 14. Looks like Cameron Murray's got buckled over in that one. Jai Arrow Parallel for the Rabbitohs. Showcase Ryan Pappenhausen for the Storm. Jack Bostock Parallel for the Dolphins. The Converters, Adam Reynolds for Broncos. Luke Brooks Parallel for Manly. Gold Parallel, Ruben Garrick for Manly, number 69. Get in there. Rising Stars, Tony Francis for Titans. Parallel, Dominic Young for the Roosters. Rising Stars, Lycan for the Dragons. Justin Olam, Parallel for Tigers. Rising Stars, Peter for the Rabbitohs. Mitchell Moses, parallel for Eels. Season to remember, Jerome Hughes for Storm. Sharks, parallel checklist. Fan faves, Kennedy Sherrington for the Eels. Kai Pearce Paul, parallel for the Knights. Rising Stars, Jackson for the Cowboys. Jacob Little, parallel for the Dragons. The Converters, Jaden Campbell for the Titans, parallel Nick Meaney for Storm. Rising Stars, Charlie Geimer for the Eels. Moses Leota, parallel for Panthers. Club Heroes, Jack Bostock for the Dolphins. Jermaine Hopgood, parallel for the Eels. Women's NRL, Tiana Penatani for the Sharks. Connor Tracy, parallel for the Bulldogs. Women's NRL, Shania Power for the Cowboys. Jaden Campbell, parallel for Titans. Fan faves in the team for Dolphins. Rising Stars for the Bulldogs. Mitchell Barnett, parallel for the Warriors. Season to remember, the Hammer for Dolphins. Broncos, parallel checklist. Fan faves, Nico Hines for the Sharks. Scott Sorensen, parallel for Panthers. Season to remember, Sean Johnson for the Warriors. Ruben Cotter, parallel for Cowboys. Gold parallel checklist number 107 for the women's. Roosters. Max King, parallel for the Bulldogs. Season to remember, Azali Faye for the Eels. Wade Egan, parallel for Warriors. Ryan Pappenhausen, fan phase for the Storm. Selwyn Cobbo, parallel for the Broncos. Club Heroes, Samai Matorfa for the Raiders. Victor Radley, parallel for the Roosters. Rising Stars, Lachlan Galvin for the Tigers. Murray Talagi, parallel for the Cowboys. Season to remember, Matt Burton for the Bulldogs. KO Weeks, parallel for the Raiders. Van Faves, Jessica Sturgis for the Roosters. Tavita Totola, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Rising Stars, Lillian White for the Knights. Jeremy Marshall King, parallel for the Dolphins. Showcase, Patrick Carrigan for the Broncos. Manly, parallel checklist. Isaac Liu, retirements for the Titans. Adam Dewey, parallel for the Tigers. Rising Stars, Liam Eisen, Thomas Hazelton, parallel for the Sharks. We're down 6 packets for the box. The Converters, Nick Meaney for Storm. Phoenix Crossland, parallel for the Knights. Women's NRL, Casey Ray for the Dragons. Jaden Stewart, parallel for the Dragons. Rising Stars, Ethan Bullymore for Manly. Xavier Coates, parallel for Storm. Season to remember, Daniel Tupou for the Roosters. Alifiana Kampi era, parallel for Titans. Van Faze, Herbie Farmworth for the Dolphins. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, parallel for the Warriors. Rising Stars, Lazarus for the Storm. Tony Staggs, parallel for Broncos. Tidy these ones up. So if we fill them boxes up too much, when we stack them together, we damage the top and bottom cards because they're too tight. And if we don't fill them up enough, then we damage the cards because they're too loose and they bounce around in the box. So if you see me fiddling around with that edge, that's why. Showcase Nico Hines for the Sharks. Cameron McInnes parallel for the Sharks. Rising Stars, Chevy Stewart for the Raiders. Dane Gagai parallel for the Knights. Cowboys, Chad Townsend for the for the Cowboys. Dragons parallel checklist. Fan Phase Dream Buller for the Tigers. Trent LaRoe parallel for Storm. Rising Stars, Jack Bostock for the Dolphins. Joseph Tarpanay parallel for the Raiders. Season to remember, Jaden Campbell for the Titans. Jack Whiten parallel for the Rabbitohs. The Converters, Jesse Southwell for the Knights. Rising Stars, Liam Henry for Panthers. Oh, parallel. The 3-1s always get me. Keanu Kinney parallel for Titans. The Converters, Kyle Flanagan for the Dragons. Dallin Watine Zalesniak parallel for Warriors. Women's NRL, Stacey Awaka for the Broncos. Reece Walsh parallel for Broncos. Rising Stars, Rory Owen, and our first Authentics for the break, number 11, Tegan Berry for the Dragons. Nice little signature. Here we got with Dragons, Michelle Lovett. Panthers parallel checklist. Season to remember, Jock Madden for the Broncos. Will Penasini parallel for the Eels. Fan faves, Amoli Olaka'atu for Manly. Matt Burton parallel for Bulldogs. Rising Stars, Josiah for Titans. James Tedesco parallel for the Roosters. Season to remember, Zach Lomax for the Dragons. Isaac Tago parallel for Panthers. Fan faves, Patrick Carrigan for the Broncos. Joe Offengowie parallel for the Eels. Rising Stars, Josiah for the Broncos. Malami kick out parallel for the Bulldogs. Club Heroes, Isaiah Yo for Panthers. Spencer Lenu, parallel for the Roosters. Women's NRL, Georgia Hale for the Titans. Cowboys, parallel checklist. Fan faves, Jakaya Whitfield for the Cowboys. Ruben Garrick, parallel for Manly. Rising Stars, Casey Array for the Dragons. Apasai Carousel, parallel for the Tigers. Fan faves, Stephen Crichton for the Bulldogs. The Hammer, parallel for Dolphins. Rising Stars, Dimitri for the Warriors. Tommy Turbo, parallel for Manly. Showcase, Luke Brooks for Manly. Samula, parallel for the Tigers. Fan faves in the team for Storm. Nico Hines, parallel for the Sharks. Women's NRL in the gold, number 179, Ali Brigginshaw for the Broncos. Greg Marzu, parallel for the Knights. Rising Stars, Harrison Edwards for the Cowboys. Jack DeBellin, parallel for the Dragons. The Converters, Pauline Razabel for the Tigers. Ryan Pappenhausen, parallel for Storm. Women's NRL Tigers checklist, parallel Jojo Fafita for the Titans. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Rising Stars, Bailey Haywood for the Bulldogs. Tamir Martin, parallel for the Warriors. Season to remember, Bradman Best for the Knights. Dean Mariner, parallel for the Broncos. Fan phase, Dallin Watine Zalesniak for the Warriors. Brian To'o, parallel for Panthers. Rising Stars, a Dion for the Rabbitohs. Eels Parallel Checklist. 4 packets left for box number 4. Gold Parallel Scott Drinkwater, number 86. We also have Scott Drinkwater Parallel. Club Heroes, Patrick Carrigan for the Broncos. Raiders Parallel Checklist. Rising Stars, Blake Steep for the Roosters. Keon Koloamatangi Parallel for the Rabbitohs. Last packet in box number 4. Season to remember, Jack Whiten for the Rabbitohs and Jermaine Isako Parallel for the Dolphins. Alright, let's go. Box number 5. Gold Parallel, Thomas Hazelton for the Sharks, number 24. Morgan Smithies, Parallel for the Raiders. Rising Stars, Kai Pearce Paul for the Knights. Cameron Murray, Parallel for the Rabbitohs. Kyle Felt, Season to Remember for the Cowboys. Kalen Ponga, Parallel for the Knights. Fan Faves, Saratoga Tuki for the Tigers. Kyle Flanagan, Parallel for the Dragons. Fan Faves in the team for the Sharks. Rising Stars, Casey McLean for Panthers, and Jerome Hughes, Parallel for the Storm. Showcase Valami Kickow for the Bulldogs. Jeremiah Nanai, Parallel for the Cowboys. Club Heroes, Tommy Turbo for Manly. Parallel, AJ Abrimson for the Titans. Women's NRL, Kira Dibb for the Cowboys. Warriors, Parallel Checklist. Rising Stars, Evie McGrath for the Tigers. Roosters parallel checklist. Rising Stars Caleb Navale for Manly. Raymond Fatala Mariner parallel for the Dragons. Rising Stars Dan Kerr for the Eels. Patrick Carrigan parallel for the Broncos. Season to remember, Tony Staggs for the Broncos. Dylan Edwards parallel for Panthers. Fan phase, Tommy Turbo for Manly. Bryce Cartwright parallel for the Eels. Rising Stars, Leilani Montgomery for the Titans. Jacob Preston parallel for the Bulldogs. Season to remember, Dale Finucane for the Sharks. Sean Lane parallel for the Eels. Fan phase, Mackenzie Awicki for the Raiders. Jacob Carraz parallel for the Bulldogs. Showcase, Kalen Ponga for the Knights. Connor Watson parallel for the Roosters. Women's NRL Gold in the checklist, 131 for the Sharks. Jason Tormalolo parallel for the Cowboys. Rising Stars, Ethan King for the Roosters. Hudson Young parallel for the Raiders. Season to remember, Jai Arrow for the Rabbitohs. Alex Johnston parallel for the Rabbitohs. Rising Stars, Samuel Stonestreet for the Sharks. Tigers parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Jai Gray for the Rabbitohs. Liam Martin parallel for the Panthers. Fan phase, Tommy Dearden for the Cowboys. Dolphins parallel checklist. The Converters, Nathan Cleary for Panthers. Felice Kafusi parallel for the Dolphins. Rising Stars, Sione for the Dragons. Dalian Predictor for the men's, number 37. Bulldogs, Peter Lowe. Daly Cherry Evans, parallel for Manly. The Converters, Lauren Brown for Titans. Lachlan Galvin, parallel for Tigers. Women's NRL Titans Checklist. Molly Olika R2, parallel for Manly. Women's NRL Stephanie Hancock for the Dragons. Ronaldo Mulatalo, parallel for the Sharks. Rising Stars, Lily Peacock for the Cowboys. Bradman Best, parallel for the Knights. Fan Faves, Nathan Cleary for the Panthers. Dylan Lucas, parallel for the Knights. Season to remember, David Armstrong for the Knights. Luciano Leilua, parallel for the Dragons. Fan Phase, Tohu Harris for the Warriors. Storm, parallel checklist. Season to remember, Daly Cherry Evans for Manly. William Kennedy, parallel for the Sharks. Rising Stars, Harry Hayes for the Bulldogs. Milwaukee Fodawaker, parallel for the Titans. The Converters, Taylor Preston for the Sharks. Chance Nicole Clockstad, parallel for the Warriors. And last pack for the box. Club Heroes, Jaden Sewer for the Dragons. Adam Reynolds, parallel for the Broncos. Box number 6. Season to remember, Alexis for the Dragons. Ezra Mam, parallel for the Broncos. Fan Faves, Reece Welsh for the Broncos. Isaiah Yeo, parallel for Panthers. Gold parallel, Ella Costa for the Dragons, number 131. Rising Stars, Skylar Adams for the Broncos, and Micah Sevo parallel for the Eels. Showcase Cameron Murray for the Rabbitohs. Bulldogs parallel checklist. Liam Martin, gold parallel for Panthers, number 84. Lindsay Collins, parallel for the Roosters. Rising Stars, Oren Keeley for the Dolphins. Tommy Aduden, parallel for the Cowboys. Season to remember, Jamie Chapman for the Titans. Xavier Savage, parallel for the Raiders. Romy Teetsel, women's NRL for the Broncos. David Fafita, parallel for the Titans. Rising Stars for the Storm. Tohu Harris, parallel for the Warriors. Fan phase, Reed Marnie for the Bulldogs. Cody Walker, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Rising Stars, Mawala Graham for the Warriors. Max Plath, parallel for the Dolphins. The Converters, Scott Drinkwater for the Cowboys. Jake Trbojevic, parallel for Manly. Women's NRL, Keezy Apps for the Tigers. Alex Seyfarth, parallel for the Tigers. Rising Stars, Grace Kemp for the Raiders. Brighton Nakora, parallel for the Sharks. Rising Stars, Hopper Waife for Manly. Tyrell Sloan, parallel for the Dragons. Club Heroes, Olivia Koenig for the Roosters. Cameron Munster, parallel for Storm. Season to remember, Kyle Felt for the Cowboys. Kalen Ponga, parallel for Knights. Fan faves, Sarah Togatuki for the Tigers. Kyle Flanagan, parallel for the Dragons. Rising Stars, Casey McLean for the Panthers. Jerome Hughes, parallel for Storm. Fan faves in the team for Tigers. AJ Brimson, parallel for the Titans. Club Heroes, Hopawate for Manly. Warriors, parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Dan Kerr for the Eels. Patrick Carrigan, parallel for the Broncos. Season to remember, Tony Staggs for the Broncos. Dylan Edwards, parallel for Panthers. Fan phase, Tommy Turbo for Manly. Bryce Cartwright, parallel for Eels. Season to remember, Samantha Bremner for the Roosters. Blake Brayley, parallel for Sharks. Fan faves, Mark Nichols for the Dolphins. Knights parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Leilani Montgomery for the Titans. Jacob Preston, parallel for the Bulldogs. Showcase, Nico Hines for Sharks. Connor Watson, parallel for the Roosters. Retirements, Edric Lee for the Dolphins. Jason Tormalolo, parallel for the Cowboys. The Converters, Zahara Kamara for the Raiders. Rising Stars, Ethan King for the Roosters, and Hudson Young, parallel for the Raiders. Sixth last packet for box number 6. The Converters, Rachel Pearson for the Eels. Alex Johnston, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Women's NRL, Mahalia Murphy for the Eels. Dolphins parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Sione for the Dragons. Daly Cherry Evans, parallel for Manly. Season to remember, Jai Arrow for the Rabbitohs. Lachlan Galvin, parallel for the Tigers. Fan phase, Tommy Dearden for the Cowboys. Ronaldo Mulatalo, parallel for Sharks. Rising Stars, Lily Peacock for the Cowboys. Bradman Best, parallel for the Knights. Another box down. Alright, box number 7. Season to remember, Madison Bartlett for the Raiders. Stephen Crichton, parallel for Bulldogs. Fan faves for the Rabbitohs. Angus Crichton, parallel for the Roosters. Rising Stars, Max Plath for the Dolphins. Helam Lukey, parallel for the Cowboys. Showcase Lindsay Collins for the Roosters. Ethan Strange, parallel for the Raiders. The Converters, Jaden Campbell for the Titans. Rabbitohs Parallel Checklist. Rising Stars, Jacob for the Warriors. Herbie Farmworth, parallel for Dolphins. Season to remember, Rebecca Pollard for the Tigers. Tommy Talau, parallel for Manly. Rising Stars, Benjamin for the Broncos. Dylan Brown, parallel for the Eels. Fan phase, Yasmin Clydesdale for the Knights. Charlie Staines, parallel for Tigers. Rising Stars, Morgan Smithies for the Raiders. Jesse Ramian, parallel for the Sharks. The Converters, Racine McGregor for the Dragons. Leo Thompson, parallel for the Knights. Women's NRL, Rakea Horn for the Tigers. Blake Laurie, parallel for the Dragons. Rising Stars, Maverick Gaia for Panthers, Eliza Katoa parallel for Storm. Season to Remember, Zali Faye for the Eels Titans parallel checklist. Melly Hafunga, Women's NRL for the Broncos. Nathan Cleary parallel for Panthers. Ryan Pappenhausen, fan faves for Storm. Wade Egan, parallel for the Warriors. Rising Stars, Charlie Geimer for the Eels. Selwyn Cobbo, parallel for Broncos. Women's Gold, number 188. Tegan Berry for the Dragons. Moses Leota, parallel for Panthers. Ethan Strange, Club Heroes for the Raiders. Jermaine Hopgood, parallel for the Eels. Rising Stars, Tony Francis for the Titans. Connor Tracy, parallel for the Bulldogs. Season to Remember, Sean Johnson for the Warriors. Dominic Young, parallel for the Roosters. Dragons Gold parallel checklist, number 62. Rising Stars for the Storm. Jackson Ford, parallel for the Warriors. Club Hero, Bree Chester for the Cowboys. Payne Huss, parallel for the Broncos. Fan Phase, Blake Laurie for the Dragons. Reuben Cotter, parallel for the Cowboys. Rising Stars, Aleo for the Roosters. Jamal Fogarty, parallel for the Raiders. Showcase, Dave Fafita for the Titans. Jai Arrow, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Retirement, Elliot Whitehead for the Raiders. Jack Bostock, parallel for the Dolphins. Rising Stars, Lycan King for the Dragons. Luke Brooks, parallel for Manly. Season to remember, Isaac Tago for Panthers. Harry Grant parallel for the Storm. Fan faves, AJ Brinson for Titans. Big Tino parallel for Titans. Converters, Happy Appy for the Tigers. Justin Olam parallel for the Tigers. Women's NRL, Zali Faye for the Eels. Sharks parallel checklist. Fan faves in the team for Cowboys. Rising Stars, Jackson for the Cowboys. Kai Pearce Paul parallel for the Knights. So 3 packets left to go for the box. Season to remember, Jerome Hughes for Storm. Jacob Little parallel for the Dragons. Fan faves, Kennedy Sherrington for the Eels. Nick Meaney parallel for the Storm. Rising Stars for the Bulldogs. Jaden Campbell parallel for Titans. Alright, what are we up to? Box number 8. Alright. Yep. Fan faves, Alex 12 for the Tigers. Took me a second to count. Blake Laurie parallel for the Dragons. Rising Stars, Maverick Gaia for the Panthers. Eliza Katoa parallel for Storm. Showcase a group card. Titans parallel checklist. I was starting to wonder if we we're going to get a group card today. We got through the starter packs without one. Converters in the gold, Mitchell Moses for the Eels. Wade Egan parallel for the Warriors. Rising Stars, Charlie Geimer for the Eels. Selwyn Cobbo parallel for the Broncos. Rising Stars, Morgan Smithies for the Raiders. Jesse Ramian, parallel for the Sharks. Season to remember, Kira Dibb for the Cowboys. Leo Thompson, parallel for the Knights. Season to remember, Stacey Waka for the Broncos. Moses Leota, parallel for Panthers. Women's NRL, Racine McGregor for the Dragons. Charlie Staines, parallel for Tigers. Jake Jaboyevich, fan faves for Manly. Jermaine Hopgood, parallel for the Eels. Rising Stars, Tony Francis for the Titans. Connor Tracy, parallel for the Bulldogs. The Converters, Kalen Ponga for Knights. Dominic Young, parallel for the Roosters. Women's NRL, Shaylee Bent for the Titans. Ruben Cotter, parallel for the Cowboys. Rising Stars, Alaya Nasio for the Roosters. Jamal Fogarty, parallel for the Raiders. Club Heroes, Regan Campbell-Gillard for the Eels. Tommy Talau, parallel for Manly. Season to remember, Alex Johnston for the Rabbitohs. Jai Arrow, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Fan faves, Ruben Cotter for the Cowboys. Jack Bostock, parallel for Dolphins. Rising Stars, Lycan for the Dragons. Luke Brooks, parallel for Manly. Women's NRL, Lasana Alutu, number 91 in the gold. For the Tigers, parallel Justin Olam for the Tigers. Club Heroes, Jack Whiten for the Rabbitohs. Of course he's Club Hero already. Sharks parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Jackson for the Cowboys. Kai Pearce Paul, parallel for the Knights. Season to remember, Tamika Upton for the Knights. Jacob Little, parallel for the Dragons. Fan phase Roger Tuivasa-Sheck for the Warriors. Nick Meaney, parallel for Storm. Rising Stars for the Bulldogs. Jaden Campbell, parallel for the Titans. Season to remember, Alafiana Kampi era for Titans. Ethan Strange, parallel for the Raiders. Fan faves, Jacob Preston for the Bulldogs. Rabbitohs, parallel checklist. Gold parallel, Dominic Young for the Roosters, number 53. Rising Stars, Jacob for the Warriors. Herbie Farmworth, parallel for Dolphins. Showcase, Cameron Murray for the Rabbitohs. Mitchell Barnett, parallel for the Warriors. Dale Finucane, retirements for the Sharks. Broncos, parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Peter for the Rabbitohs. Scott Sorensen, parallel for the Panthers. The Converters, Kira Dibb for the Cowboys. Mitchell Moses, parallel for the Eels. Women's NRL, Gail Broughton for Broncos. Max King, parallel for Bulldogs. 4 packets left for the box. Team fan favourites for the Warriors. Rising Stars, Lachlan Galvin for the Tigers. Victor Radley, parallel for the Roosters. Season to remember, Anessa Biddle for the Sharks. Murray Talagi, parallel for the Cowboys. Fan faves, KO Weeks for the Raiders. KO Weeks, parallel for the Raiders. Let's go. Last packet for the box. Rising Stars, Lily Ann White for the Knights. Tavita Totola, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Alright, I'm just going to do a quick tour of the run, guys. I'll be back in a minute. Alright, sorry about that. We are back. Let's get back into it. Our chat and our team list. There we are. Box number 9. Season to remember, Zach Lomax for the Dragons. Katoni Staggs, parallel for Broncos. Oh no. I lost me Spotify. There we go. Bit quiet in here when I haven't got music playing in the ear. Poor mum over there in the background, gotta listen to me carry on. Patrick Kerrigan, fan faves for the Broncos. Isaac Tago, parallel for Panthers. Rising Stars, Josiah for the Broncos. Joe Offengowie, parallel for Eagles. Gold Converters, Pauline Roosevelt for the Tigers. Allow kick out, parallel for the Bulldogs. Club Heroes, Julia Robinson for the Broncos. Spencer Lanu, parallel for the Roosters. Hammer Fido, season to remember for the Dolphins. Mitchell Barnett, parallel for the Warriors. Rising Stars, Liam Eisen for the Sharks. Adam Dewey, parallel for Tigers. Season to remember, Daniel Tupou for the Roosters. Thomas Hazelton, parallel for the Sharks. Fan faves, Herbie Farmworth for Dolphins. Phoenix Crossland, parallel for the Knights. Season to remember, Matt Burton for the Bulldogs. Murray Talagi, parallel for Cowboys. Fan faves, Jessica Surgis for the Roosters. KO Weeks, parallel for the Raiders. Rising Stars, Lily Ann White for the Knights. Tavita Totola, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Showcase Ethan Strange for the Raiders. Jeremy Marshall King, parallel for the Dolphins. Fan faves in the team for the Knights. Manly Parallel Checklist. Rising Stars, Ethan Bullymore for Manly. Tackling Machines, Bree Chester, number 73 for the Cowboys. Jaden Sewer, parallel for the Dragons. The Converters, Romy Teetsel for the Broncos. Xavier Coates, parallel for Storm. Rising Stars, Peter for the Rabbitohs. Scott Sorensen, parallel for Panthers. Club Heroes, Liam Henry for the Panthers. Mitchell Moses, parallel for the Eels. Women's NRL, Jocelyn Keller for the Roosters. Alafiana Kampi-Era, parallel for Titans. Rising Stars, Lazarus for the Storm. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, parallel for the Warriors. Showcase Lachlan Galvin for the Tigers. Tommy Turbo, parallel for Manly. Fan faves, Nico Hines for the Sharks. Broncos, parallel checklist. Max King, gold parallel for the Bulldogs, number 15. As I put it down, it opens up. Good on you. And Samula, parallel for the Tigers. Chevy Stewart, Rising Stars for the Raiders. Nico Hines, parallel for the Sharks. Converters, Adam Pompey for the Warriors. Dane Gagai, parallel for the Knights. Women's NRL Raiders Checklist. Max King, parallel for the Bulldogs. Women's NRL in the gold, number 152. Lauren Brown for the Titans. Rising Stars, Lachlan Galvin for the Tigers. Victor Radley, parallel for the Roosters. Women's NRL, Georgia Roach for the Knights. Dragons, parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Liam Henry for Panthers. Trent Leroux, parallel for Storm. Season to remember, Chad Townsend for the Cowboys. Keanu Kinney, parallel for Titans. Fan fave, Dream Buller for the Tigers. Darren Martin Zalesniak, parallel for the Warriors. Rising Stars, Rory Owen for the Eels. Reece Welsh, parallel for the Broncos. Rising Stars, Jack Bostock for the Dolphins. Cowboys, parallel checklist. 3 packets left for the box. Season to remember, Jaden Campbell for the Titans. Joseph Tarpanay, parallel for the Raiders. Fan fave, Stephen Crichton for the Bulldogs. Jack Whiten, parallel for the Rabbitohs. And lucky last for the box. Here we go. Rising Stars, Dimitri for the Warriors. Hammer Fido, parallel for Dolphins. And that's another box done and dusted. Excuse me. Box number 10. Our 4th last box for the break. Gold parallel, Chance Nico Klokstad for the Warriors. Number 1. There we go. Nice low one. That's the first one I think I've seen this release. Although in saying that, I don't check numbers when I'm opening for the website. I'm just opening and sorting. Harry Hayes, Rising Stars for the Bulldogs. Mawaki Fotoaka, parallel for Titans. I know Dad checks for jersey numbers and that when we open for the website, but yeah, I've just opened. That's the next job on the list. Club Heroes, Lycan King for the Dragons. Chance Nico Klokstad, parallel for the Warriors. Rising Stars, Joe Chan for Storm. Jackson Ford, parallel for the Warriors. Women's NRL, Simone Matorfa for the Raiders. Adam Reynolds, parallel for Broncos. For the Rabbitohs, Rising Stars, Jai Gray. Liam Martin, parallel for Panthers. Season to remember, Madison Bartlett for the Raiders. Stephen Crichton, parallel for the Bulldogs. Fan faves, AJ Brimson for the Titans. Big Tino, parallel for the Titans. Season to remember, Dale Finucane for the Sharks. Sean Lane, parallel for the Eels. Fan phase, Mackenzie Wiki for the Raiders. Jacob Carraz, parallel for the Bulldogs. Rising Stars, Evie McGrath for the Tigers. Roosters, parallel checklist. Season to remember, Isaac Tago for Panthers. Harry Grant, parallel for Storm. Showcase, David Fafita for the Titans. Jeremiah Nanai, parallel for Cowboys. Women's Gold, Jamie Chapman for the Titans, 130. Morgan Smithies, parallel for the Raiders. Fan faves in the team for Eels. Rising Stars, Caleb for Manly. Parallel, Raymond Vitala Mariner for the Dragons. And in the white, authentic, number 19, Connor Tracy for the Bulldogs. We got Peter Lowe with the Bulldogs. That's right. Payne Haas, parallel for the Broncos. Bulldogs was the last spot in the break. Peter cleaning that up this morning so we could break today. Club Heroes, Jackson Purdue for the Cowboys. Nathan Cleary, parallel for Panthers. Women's NRL, Millie Elliott for the Roosters. Dylan Lucas, parallel for the Knights. Rising Stars, Benjamin Takura for the Broncos. Dylan Brown, parallel for the Eels. Converters, Jocelyn Keller for the Roosters. Tommy Talau, parallel for Manly. The Converters, Jamal Fogarty for Raiders. William Kennedy, parallel for Sharks. Fan faves for the Rabbitohs. Angus Crichton, parallel for Roosters. Rising Stars, Max Plath for the Dolphins. Elam Lukey, parallel for the Cowboys. Showcase, Nathan Cleary for Panthers. Ethan Strange, parallel for the Raiders. Rising Stars, Samuel Stonestreet for the Sharks. Tigers, parallel checklist. Gold Converters, Sam Walker for the Roosters. Rabbitohs, parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Jacob for the Warriors. Herbie Farmworth, parallel for Dolphins. Fan faves, Nathan Cleary for Panthers. Molly Olika R2, parallel for Manly. Women's NRL Knights checklist. Jesse Ramian, parallel for the Sharks. Season to remember, David Armstrong for the Knights. Luciano Leilua, parallel for the Dragons. Rising Stars, Morgan Smithies for the Raiders. Leo Thompson, parallel for the Knights. Season to remember, Rebecca Pollard for the Tigers. Blake Laurie, parallel for the Dragons. Season to remember, Daly Cherry Evans for Manly. Felice Kafusi, parallel for Dolphins. Fan faves, Tohu Harris for the Warriors. Storm, parallel checklist. Fan faves, Yasmin Clydesdale for the Knights. Eliza Katoa parallel for the Storm. Rising Stars, Maverick Gaia for the Panthers. Bruce Cartwright. Last packet for box number 10. Rising Stars, Kai Pearce Paul for the Knights. Cameron Murray parallel for the Rabbitohs. Box number 11. This is the first one we've had get stuck in here. It's unusual. Alright, second last box from the case, leaving one hobby and one priority to go. And the one we're on. Let's go, 3 boxes in total. Fan phase, Tiana Penatani for the Sharks. Dean Mariner parallel for the Broncos. Rising Stars, Dion for the Rabbitohs. Brian To'o parallel for Panthers. Showcase Ryan Pappenhausen for Storm. Eels parallel checklist. Gold parallel Nick Meaney for the Storm, number 73. Parallel Reed Marnie for the Bulldogs. Rising Stars, Samula for the Tigers. Sam Walker parallel for the Roosters. Season to remember, Connor Tracy for the Bulldogs. Reece Robson parallel for the Cowboys. Fan faves, Connor Watson for the Roosters. Matthew Tomoko parallel for the Raiders. Rising Stars, Bailey Haywood for the Bulldogs. Jojo Fafita parallel for Titans. Season to remember, Herbie Farmworth for the Dolphins. Tamir Martin parallel for the Warriors. Rising Stars, Fletcher Sharp for the Knights. Latrell Mitchell parallel for the Rabbitohs. The converters, Sam Walker for the Roosters. Isaiah Katoa, parallel for Dolphins. Club Heroes, Valami Kickout for the Bulldogs. Jack DeBellin, parallel for the Dragons. Women's NRL, Isabel Kelly for the Roosters. Parallel, Ryan Pappenhausen for Storm. Janice Southwell, Women's NRL for the Knights. Tolatoa Koala, parallel for Manly. Rising Stars, Georgia Henaway for the Sharks. Dream Buller, parallel for the Tigers. Season to remember, Samantha Bremner for the Roosters. Blake Brayley, parallel for the Sharks. Fan faves, Mark Nichols for the Dolphins. Knights, parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Hopper Wate for Manly. Tyrell Sloan, parallel for the Dragons. Gold Converters, Adam Pompey for the Warriors. Rising Stars, Harrison Edwards for the Cowboys. Greg Marsu, parallel for Knights. Fan faves for the Bulldogs. Cameron Munster, parallel for Storm. Club Heroes, James Tedesco for the Roosters. David Fafita, parallel for Titans. Rising Stars for the Storm. Tohu Harris, parallel for the Warriors. Season to remember, Alexis for the Dragons. Ezra Mann, parallel for the Broncos. Fan faves, Reece Walsh for the Broncos. Isaiah Yo, parallel for Panthers. Women's Gold, Jasmine Peters for the Cowboys, 139. Rising Stars, Skylar Adams for the Broncos. Marcus Sivo, parallel for the Eels. Showcase, Patrick Carrigan for the Broncos. Bulldogs, parallel checklist. Season to remember, Xavier Coates for Storm. Asai Carousel, parallel for the Tigers. Fan faves, Mitchell Moses for the Eels. Cameron McInnes, parallel for the Sharks. Retirements, Brad Parker for Manly. Parallel, Lindsay Collins for the Roosters. Rising Stars, Oren Keeley for the Dolphins. Tommy Dearden, parallel for the Cowboys. The Converters, Matt Burton for the Bulldogs. Xavier Savage, parallel for the Raiders. Women's NRL, Quincy Dodd for the Sharks. Cody Walker, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Rising Stars, Mawala Graham for the Warriors. Max Plath, parallel for the Dolphins. 3 packets left for the box. Season to remember, Jamie Chapman for the Titans. Jake Trbojevic, parallel for Manly. Fan faves, Reed Marnie for the Bulldogs. Alex Seyfarth, parallel for the Tigers. Alright, lucky last packet for the box.
Yeah, I remind everybody albums are late. I'm getting a million messages today. I didn't get my albums, I didn't get my albums, I didn't get my albums. So people need to read their messages.
Alright guys, just a reminder for those that are watching and watching later on, albums are delayed. We're expecting them hopefully at the end of this week, but due to the weather they haven't been able to get here. So as soon as they get here, we'll send them out. We have sent emails, we have put posts up, so please check the posts and the emails, because that's how we'll update everyone when they do arrive and get sent out. So if you keep an eye on them, you'll know exactly what's going on. Rising Stars, Grace Kemp for the Raiders. Brighton Nakora, parallel for the Sharks. Alright, box number 12, last box of the case. Rising Stars, Harry Hayes for the Bulldogs. Tackling Machines, Blake Brayley for the Sharks, number 101. Milwaukee Photo Ica, parallel for Titans. Season to remember, Trey Fuller for the Dolphins. Chance Nicole Clockstead, parallel for the Warriors. Showcase Nathan Cleary for the Panthers. Luciano Leilua, parallel for the Dragons. Fan phase, Thomas Hazelton for the Sharks. Adam Reynolds, parallel for the Broncos. Rising Stars, Lily Peacock for the Cowboys, and Bradman Best, parallel for the Knights. Women's NRL in the gold to make Upton for the Knights, number 88. Storm parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Jai Gray for the Rabbitohs. Liam Martin, parallel for Panthers. The Converters, Taylor Preston for the Sharks. Sean Lane, parallel for the Eels. Women's NRL Sharks checklist. Jacob Carraz, parallel for the Bulldogs. Fan faves, Will Penasini for the Eels. Ronaldo Militalo, parallel for the Sharks. Rising Stars, Evie McGrath for the Tigers. Roosters parallel checklist. Just another reminder that I just thought of as well, because I was dealing with this. This one ended up being something different. But we do send emails with tracking numbers, or if it doesn't have a tracking number, a picture of your package. So normally an envelope. And send that once the package is sent. So if you aren't receiving those emails, I suggest you check your junk, or maybe whoever you're registered with, if they have us marked as spam or something. Because I know we've been getting a lot of emails chasing tracking numbers and all that, and mum and dad go to a lot of effort to send those emails with that information to make sure everyone has it. Season to remember, Addo Carr for the Bulldogs. Jeremiah Nanai, parallel for the Cowboys. Number one, to save the time and effort having to look for it when someone rings up to look for it. If they already have it, they shouldn't have to contact us. Fan phase, James Tedesco for the Roosters. So if you're not receiving them, make sure you check on your end. And if you can't figure it out why, maybe contact us. It could be an incorrect email on the order. Morgan Smithies for the Raiders. So double check those emails when you're placing the orders, and double check you are receiving them from us. sales@goldcoasttradingcards.net is the one that you'll receive automatic emails from, and the one with the tracking number. And you may also receive replies from goldcoasttradingcards@live.com.au. Cameron Munster, season to remember for the Storm. Hudson Young, parallel for the Raiders. The live.com.au one has been the one that Dad has had since the beginning. And Gold Coast Trading Cards @goldcoasttradingcards.net is associated just with the website, basically. It's the easiest way to explain it. Rising Stars, Kai Pearce, Paul for the Knights. Cameron Murray, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Gold converters, Jermaine Isako for the Dolphins. Felice Kafusi parallel for the Dolphins. Club Heroes, Mitch Barnett for the Warriors. Hamoli Olakau'atu parallel for Manly. Gold parallel, Will Penasini for the Eels, number 3. Rising Stars, Sione for the Dragons, and Lachlan Galvin parallel for the Tigers. Rising Stars, Samuel Stonestreet for the Sharks. Tigers parallel checklist. Season to remember, Jared Herrera Hargraves for the Roosters. William Kennedy parallel for the Sharks. Women's NRL, Tamika Upton for the Knights. Daly Cherry Evans parallel for Manly. Fan faves, the Hammer for Dolphins. Dylan Lucas parallel for the Knights. Rising Stars, Caleb for Manly. Raymond Fatala Mariner parallel for the Dragons. Club Heroes, Avania Polite for the Titans. Dolphins parallel checklist. Showcase, Tommy Dearden for the Cowboys. Harry Grant parallel for Storm. Fan faves in the team for the Rabbitohs. Big Tino parallel for the Titans. Rising Stars, Joe Chan for Storm. Jackson Ford parallel for the Warriors. Rising Stars, Ethan King for the Roosters. Alex Johnston parallel for the Rabbitohs. The Converters, Latrell Mitchell for the Rabbitohs. Payne Huss parallel for the Broncos. Emma Manzelman, Women's NRL for the Cowboys. Nathan Cleary parallel for Panthers. Tegan Berry, fan faves for the Dragons. Charlie Staines, parallel for Tigers. 5 packets left for the box, with only the priority box left to go. Excuse me. Rising Stars, Benjamin for the Broncos. Dylan Brown, parallel for the Eels. Season to remember, Ben Hunt for the Dragons. Stephen Crichton, parallel for the Bulldogs. Season to remember, Tamir Martin for the Warriors. Jason Taumalolo, parallel for the Cowboys. Fan faves, Julia Robinson for the Broncos. Angus Crichton, parallel for the Roosters. Last packet for the Capes. Rising Stars, Max Plath for the Dolphins, and Helam Lukey, parallel for the Cowboys. Alright, final box of the break, priority. Let's go. Reminder for the last time in the break, the breaks that are listed, we have 2 that are in stock and 2 that are coming soon. They are the last breaks for 25 traders. That will include the mini hobby starter case. That's it, that's all. So if you're still chasing them, I suggest to grab a spot or hit that wish list button at the bottom of the ones coming soon. There will be more breaks, just none with those mini starter cases in them. Season to remember, Renato Mulatalo for the Sharks, Bulldogs, parallel checklist. Fan faves, Ethan Strange for the Raiders, Lindsay Collins, parallel for the Roosters. Rising Stars, Ethan King for the Roosters, Tommy Dearden, parallel for the Cowboys. Priority Club Heroes, Patrick Carrigan for the Broncos, number 18. Xavier Savage, parallel for the Raiders. Casey Ray, Women's NRL for the Dragons. Cody Walker, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Rising Star, Sione for the Dragons. Max Plath, parallel for the Dolphins. Rising Stars, Max Plath for the Dolphins. Again, Roosters parallel checklist. Season to remember, Tommy Talau for Manly. Jake Trbojevic, parallel for Manly. Fan faves, Brian To'o for Panthers. Alex Seyfarth, parallel for the Tigers. Gold wins Tegan Berry for the Dragons, number 154. Not sure if we've had the gold version of Tegan Berry already in the break or just the normal one. Rising Stars, Lily Peacock for the Cowboys. And Brighton Nakora, parallel for the Sharks. Yeah, I don't know, for some reason Tegan Berry gold feels familiar. Feels like we've already done one this break. Showcase, Luke Brooks for Manly. Kalen Ponga, parallel for the Knights. Mind you, I said that about the Isaac Liu retirements. And it was actually the case card, not a normal retirements that we had already hit. Clint Gufferson, season to remember for the Eels. That was yesterday, by the way. Sean Lane, parallel for the Eels. Gold parallel, number 88. Max Plath for the Dolphins. Seems very popular on the Dolphins cards, old Max Plath. Or young Max Plath. Kyle Flanagan, parallel for the Dragons. Push it. Hey. Rising Stars, Harry Hayes for the Bulldogs. Jerome Hughes, parallel for Storm. Season to remember, Sanoa Taruva for Panthers. AJ Brimson, parallel for the Titans. Fan phase, Jaden Campbell for the Titans. Warriors, parallel checklist. Fan phase, Josh King for the Storm. Jacob Carraz, parallel for the Bulldogs. Rising Stars, Jai Gray for the Rabbitohs. Patrick Carrigan, parallel for the Broncos. Halfway through the priority box now. Let's go. The Converters, Matt Burton for the Bulldogs. Dylan Edwards, parallel for the Panthers. Women's NRL, Georgia Hale for the Titans. Bryce Cartwright, parallel for the Eels. Rising Stars, Evie McGrath for the Tigers. Jacob Preston, parallel for the Bulldogs. Season to remember, Jamal Fogarty for the Raiders. Connor Watson, parallel for the Roosters. Rising Stars, Benjamin for the Broncos. Liam Martin, parallel for Panthers. Alex Johnston, fan faves for the Rabbitohs. Jason Taumalolo, parallel for Cowboys. Rising Stars, Kai Pearce-Paul for the Knights. Hudson Young, parallel for the Raiders. Fan faves in the team. Is he still watching? Number 30 for the Broncos. Oh, excuse me. Alex Johnston, parallel for the Rabbitohs. And our second priority club heroes, number 14, Samaima Taufa for the Raiders. Parallel Dolphins checklist. Rising Stars, Samuel Stone Street for the Sharks. Daly Cherry Evans, parallel for Manly. Season to remember, Adam Dewey for the Tigers. Lachlan Galvin, parallel for the Tigers. Women's NRL, Stacey Waka for the Broncos. Adam Reynolds, parallel for the Broncos. Fan faves, Kalen Ponga for the Knights. Good timing, mate. Good timing. Ronaldo Mulatalo, parallel for the Sharks. Rising Stars, Caleb for Manly. Bradman Best, parallel for the Knights. 4 packets left for the break. Still got 2 randomizations to do after that, guys. Showcase Nathan Cleary for Panthers. Luciano Leilua, parallel for the Dragons. And don't go anywhere, you never know, there may be a Legends card hiding in that last pack. We are doing priority, you never know your luck. David Nofaluma, retirement for Tigers. That doesn't help my cause. Storm parallel checklist. Gold converter priority special number 18. Pauline Roosevelt for the Tigers. Hopefully that pattern shows up because yeah, it really sets off that card. Rising Stars, Joe Chan for the Storm, and Mawaki Fodawaika parallel for Titans. Lucky last for the break. Here we go. The converters, Sam Walker for the Roosters, and Chance Nicole Clockstad parallel for the Warriors. So we have our showcase group card, which gets randomized between all 17 spots, and we also have the bonus $100 gift card, which is also randomized between all 17 spots. Let's change screens. There we go. Everyone's already in, but we will copy that list so we can just hit reset nice and easy. Number 1. Remember, this is for the showcase group card. Number 2, and lucky last, number 3, Daryl Barton with the Eels. All right, to finish us off, the bonus $100 gift card. Who will be our lucky winner? Number 1. Number 2, And lucky last, number 3. I think Nick stayed there for the last, yeah, he was first on the last 2 rolls. Good work, mate. Alright, well, congratulations, Nick. I will fix that up for you and get that sent out ASAP. Alright, that's it. That's all for this one. Don't forget to check out the currently listed breaks on the website.